and all that.
Mm-hmm.
We actually saw that. But that was the only time that
So how did that affect you? What did you think when you saw that?
It's hard to say right now, but I was probably not remorseful
Yeah.
at all.
No, well, there's no reason to be.
It might be later on you might see, those are human beings down there the same as you are.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, they would do that to you.
Sure. Yeah.
It was a question of who had the superiority at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was at that time when there was a lot of activity in troop movements. And they were bringing troops up to fight our troops.
Yeah.
From different places near Russia and
Mm-hmm.
so forth. They were railroading them up to the front lines
Mm-hmm.
area. And this was an effort to impede that.
Sure.
And we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Now
After a while, they wouldn't move those trains in daylight.
Yeah. Now, in a mission, a low-level mission like that, I assume you have anti-personnel bombs? I mean, 100-pounders, 250s. You wouldn't be using the heavy stuff on it, would you?
On a low-level mission, it would be 250s. We
Okay.
never used anything less than 250s.
Okay.
250s and 500s were the common ones.
Okay.
250 is what we had that day.
Now, of course, you weren't the bombardier or anything, but as far as you recollect, depending on what kind of bombs you were dropping, did you have fuses that had to be fixed? I mean, did you have different kinds of bombs, or was it always this heavy, what kind of bombs did you use?
We never used the incendiaries.
Okay.
I didn't,
Okay.
although they were used.
Uh-huh.
The napalm you're talking about?
Well, I mean, just different kinds. I mean, I assume there was different types of bombs,
Well, napalm was purely to set fires.
Right.
And when you dropped those, they would wobble.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them dropped. They would wobble down. There was no accuracy.
Yeah, well, that wasn't the intention, so, yeah.
No. And then when they hit the ground, that material in there, the napalm, would
Explode.
and all flare up in flame.
Did you, as far as you know, did you drop any time-delayed bombs, where they wouldn't explode when they hit the ground, but they'd explode maybe later, an hour later or something like that? No?
The only training I had in that was here in the States, up in Maine. We did skip bombing.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know whether you're familiar with that.
Yeah. The British tried something like that against one of the big dams up there. Yeah.
Yeah. But we never used it over there.
Okay, yeah.
Over in,
Okay.
we dropped, as I said to you, 500-pound bombs and we usually had around between 4,000 and 5,000 pounds of bombs on the plane.
What was the maximum payload that you could take in bombs?
Well, if you had a short run, you could take 6,000 pounds.
Okay. And of course, the longer missions, more gas, less bombs.
Yeah, then you drop down to 5,000 pounds or 4,000 pounds.
Now, see, so we talked about the women, we talked about Jimmy Stewart, the low-level mission. There was something else. Do you remember what else we were going to talk about? There was another thing. We just mentioned it. Should have written it down. I think that was pretty much it, wasn't it? So did you have any other final thoughts? I mean, any other... So you had reunions after the war, right? You said you had 7 or 8 of them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had...
Now, was it just your crew, or was it the group, or the squadron?
Just the crew.
Okay.
Crew and their wives,
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
whoever they had.
Yeah.
Maybe a family member might have come. But,
Yeah.
the first one was down in Georgia there with that tail gunner.
Mm-hmm.
At his house. We never had a special place, although we did go to some places that we considered special, but the first one was right at Dodd's house, and that was interesting too, because it was the first one.
Yeah.
And
So did everybody go on that first one?
Yeah, I think 6 or 7 of us, crew members were there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, we never got 100%.
How soon after the war was that first one? I mean, it wasn't right after. I assume it was.
No. Excuse me a minute.
Sure.
I'll get some dates for you.
Okay.